The house that moves. I always thought my parents were exaggerating when they told me about the family house. They said it was alive, always shifting, always watching. I laughed it off as one of those spooky traditions families make up to scare kids. But after last week, I'm starting to believe them. And now I need to get this out before it happens again. This isn't a joke. If anything I'm about to tell you sounds familiar, please get out while you can. The inheritance. It started 2 months ago when my mom's lawyer called. She'd passed suddenly, an aneurysm, they said. And since my dad had been gone for years, the house was now mine. I hadn't been back in over a decade, not since I left for college, but I remembered it vividly. A sprawling Victorian monstrosity perched on a hill just outside of town. It was always a weird house. Rooms seemed to shift overnight. Hallways would feel longer one day, shorter the next. My parents brushed it off as settling, but even as a kid, I knew something wasn't right. Still, it was my childhood home. I owed it a visit, if only to pack up my mom's things and figure out what to do with the property. The first night. When I arrived, the house looked exactly the same. Same cracked shutters, same peeling paint, same eerie silence that made the surrounding woods feel like they were holding their breath. Inside, it was like time had frozen. My mom's knitting basket sat by her favorite chair, half-finished scarves draped over the edges. The air smelled faintly of lavender and something metallic. I spent the first night in my old bedroom. It was untouched, like a time capsule of my teenage years. Posters on the walls, a stack of dusty comic books by the bed. But something felt off. The room seemed smaller than I remembered, and when I tried to open the window, it wouldn't budge. At around 3 a.m., I woke up to a noise, a low creak, like footsteps on the stairs. I held my breath, straining to listen, but the house went quiet again. Old wood, I told myself, though the thought didn't ease the knot in my stomach. The missing door. The next morning, I decided to start with the attic. My mom used to store old family photos and papers up there, and I figured I might as well sort through them first. But when I went to the hallway, something stopped me in my tracks. The attic door was gone. I don't mean it was locked or blocked, I mean it wasn't there. The space where the door should have been was now just solid wall. My heart started racing. I knew that door had been there the night before. I spent the next hour searching the house, trying to figure out what had happened. Maybe I'd remembered wrong, or maybe my mom had remodeled before she passed. But deep down, I knew better. This house was changing. Over the next few days, it got worse. Doors appeared where they shouldn't. I'd walk into the kitchen only to find myself in the basement. Stairs led to nowhere. My bedroom seemed to shrink an inch every night, the walls pressing closer like the house was trying to suffocate me. And the noises. It wasn't just creaks anymore. I'd hear whispers behind closed doors, faint and unintelligible. The sound of furniture scraping against floors in rooms I hadn't entered. Once, I found claw marks on the inside of a closet door, long, jagged scratches that hadn't been there the day before. I tried calling someone for help, but my phone wouldn't work inside the house. Even my laptop refused to connect to Wi-Fi. It was like the house was cutting me off from the outside world. The journal. On the fourth night, I found the journal. It was tucked under a loose floorboard in my mom's bedroom, bound in cracked leather. Inside were pages of frantic handwriting, scrawled in a mix of ink and pencil. "The house is alive," one entry read. "It feeds on us. It shifts to keep us here, to keep us trapped." Another entry said, "Don't trust the rooms, don't trust the walls, and whatever you do, don't let it take you to the red door." I flipped through the pages, my hands trembling. The last entry was dated a week before my mom's death. "It's getting stronger. I don't have much time left. If you find this, run. Burn the house if you can. Don't let it keep you." The red door. That night, I dreamed of the red door. It was vivid, more vivid than any dream I'd ever had. The door was tall and narrow, painted a deep crimson that seemed to shimmer in the dark. I could hear whispers coming from behind it, growing louder the closer I got. When I woke up, I felt cold. The kind of cold that sinks into your bones. I decided I couldn't stay in the house any longer. I didn't care about the family papers or the furniture or anything else. I just wanted to leave. But when I grabbed my car keys and opened the front door, I froze. The house wasn't on the hill anymore. Outside was nothing but forest. No driveway, no road, no town in the distance. Just endless trees stretching into darkness. I slammed the door shut, my mind racing. This couldn't be happening. It didn't make sense. But when I opened the door again, the forest was still there. The house had moved. I spent hours trying to find a way out. I climbed through windows, broke open doors, even tried smashing through the walls with a hammer I found in the garage. But every time I stepped outside, I was back in the forest. And then, just as the sun began to set, I saw it. The red door. It was in the basement, at the end of a hallway that hadn't been there before. The red paint gleamed like blood, and the whispers behind it were louder now, almost deafening. I didn't want to go near it. Every instinct in my body screamed at me to run, but I couldn't. The house wouldn't let me. The walls seemed to close in behind me, forcing me toward the door. My legs moved on their own, and my hand reached for the doorknob, trembling. When I opened the door, I saw nothing. Just an empty void, stretching into infinity. And then, from the darkness, something moved. I don't remember much after that. I remember the thing in the void. Its long, spindly limbs and too many eyes. I remember running, the walls of the house twisting around me, the whispers turning into screams. Somehow, I made it back to my car. Somehow the driveway was there again, the house back on its hill. I didn't stop to question it. I just drove, not daring to look in the rearview mirror. That was a week ago. The house is gone now. When I went back with the police, there was nothing but an empty lot, overgrown with weeds. They think I'm crazy, and maybe I am. But sometimes, late at night, I still hear the whispers. And every now and then, in my dreams, I see the red door. I don't think it's over. Update. The red door won't let me go. I thought I'd left the house behind. It's been months since I escaped, and I moved to the city, far from that cursed place. For 3 months, it felt like I'd escaped. No whispers, no shifting walls, no dreams of the red door, but I was wrong. The house wasn't just a place. It's something alive. Something that's attached itself to me. And now it's making sure I know I'll never be free. The journal's return. It started a week ago. I came home from work to find the journal on my kitchen table. The same cracked leather, the same scrawled handwriting. I know I left it in the house, and I know it burned with everything else. Yet there it was, like it had followed me. I flipped through the pages. Most of the entries were the same, warnings about the house and the red door, but near the back there was a new entry, written in fresh ink. The house isn't gone. It hides. It waits. The red door's the key. Don't let it open again. I stuffed the journal in a drawer, hoping I'd wake up to find it gone. The scratches and the whispers. The next morning, I found scratches inside my closet door. 3 long, jagged marks, just like the ones I saw in the house. My blood ran cold as I ran my fingers over them. That night I heard whispers. At first they were faint, barely audible, like someone speaking through a wall. But as the hours passed, they grew louder, more insistent. They weren't coming from outside. They were inside my apartment. The red door in the city. 2 nights ago, I saw it again. I was walking home from work when I turned a corner and froze. At the end of the alley near my building stood the red door. It was tall, narrow, and crimson, gleaming faintly in the dim light. The air around it was heavy, almost suffocating, and I could hear whispers leaking from behind it. My legs felt like lead, but something was pulling me forward. It wasn't curiosity. It was the same force I felt in the house, dragging me toward the door whether I wanted to go or not. Somehow I snapped out of it. I turned and ran, not stopping until I was inside my apartment, with the door locked and bolted behind me. The new rules, I've started writing rules for myself. Little things to stay safe, or at least try. Don't acknowledge the whispers. Don't look too long at the red door. Don't stay in one place for too long. Even with the rules, the house is getting stronger. It's in my dreams now. Every time I close my eyes, I see the red door. It's closer each night, the whispers louder, almost deafening. The final warning. Last night, I woke up to find the journal lying open on my bed. There was another new entry, scrawled in the same frantic handwriting. You can't run, you can't hide, you belong to us now. I grabbed my keys and drove aimlessly for hours, too afraid to go back. But when I returned to my apartment, the journal was back on the kitchen table, open to the same page. This morning, I found claw marks on the walls, leading to the bathroom. On the mirror, written in what looked like ash, were the words, "Let us in."